There's a brand new Generation 10 leak that's going around right now, and now this one's a little iffy to me. This one seems a little weird, but I thought it was interesting because this is not the first time I've seen this. Like, I've seen a couple of people post about this, and it seems interesting to point out some of the things that this person is claiming is going to be in Generation 10, which is going to come out next year. This game is unrelated to Legend ZA because Legend ZA is coming out this year in 2025. Generation 10 will probably be released next year on the Switch 2 for the 30th anniversary of Pokemon games as a whole. So what's interesting about this is they kind of talk about the starter Pokemon, the name of the game, some of the islands, what the region is going to be called, some of the legendary Pokemon, and just kind of some random things about the game. Okay, so this guy claims it's going to be called Tides and Gales, and the region is going to be called the Lados region. Okay, so there is a picture, but I don't know if I'm going to show it, only because simply it's like, what if this is real? Then I don't want to get, my channel taken down. So I'm not going to show the pictures now, but subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications because I'm going to be updating you guys on this. And if it ends up being a fake thing or just kind of like a fan-made name once again, because we have Wind and Wave right now, which is the biggest, fan-made given name for Generation 10. That's just what everybody refers to Generation 10 as, is Wind and Wave. So yeah, apparently it's going to be called Tides and Gales, which doesn't sound totally out of the realm of possibility because this is going to be taking place in a region with a lot of water. It's going to be taking place in Greece, more specifically the Cyclades, so there's going to be a lot of water surrounding the area, and there were rumors from the Terra League months and months ago about there being floating islands in this game, so I feel like the name Tides and Gales honestly kind of fits. I don't think that they're going to go with a color name, like, Scarlet and Violet, Red and Blue. I think they're going to go with an actual, word like Sword and Shield, that kind of thing. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the post notifications to help me reach my goal of 30,000 subscribers, and so you don't miss any of the brand new leaks and updates for all things Pokemon. Any sport really goes such a long way. Just want to say shout out to the member of the week, Robert. Thank you so much for being a supporter and a fan of the channel. If you want to become channel member of the week, I have channel memberships on. You get some exclusive footage and stuff like that, some behind the scenes stuff. Also, check out my second channel, Fundora's Clips, where I'm trying to reach 300 subscribers. I basically post a bunch of my live stream clips. I'm thinking about posting some, exclusive videos over there as well. But yeah, anyways, back to the rest of the video. And this guy claims that within the Lados region, there will be 16 main islands and 150 plus smaller islands. Smaller islands are mostly useless, patches of grass, items, caves, etc. You start in the east on Mimos Island. Okay, so this is interesting because I talked about this in one of my previous videos about the island situation. Like, there will definitely be some islands that are gonna be major islands. Like, one island could be a huge city. One island could be a ginormous, port where they import and export items. There's gonna be a lot of different diverse areas within this map, and I cannot wait to see what this official map looks like. And now I gotta reiterate again, these are all leaks, and even I think these are fishy. Like, I don't claim that this is real. I'm not gonna think anything is necessarily real until it's like either every single person alive is posting it, or until obviously we get the official announcement from Game Freak that this is legit. But I do think that this entire post is just so interesting because there are things that kind of sound like they would be accurate. So for the starter Pokemon, apparently we're gonna have a fire goat called Emba, Octopop, a water octopus, and Moshell, a grass snail. I love these starters. I love the idea of all of these. The grass snail would be probably what I'm picking. I think that sounds awesome. I want more snail Pokemon. The octopus Pokemon also sounds really cool. Fire goat does sound really cool as well. However, to me, the snail and the octopus grab my attention heavily, and I would absolutely love to see those as the starter Pokemon. I really hope that that is at least close. And if anything, I honestly feel like the fire goat starter is probably the most possible out of these three to become the starter Pokemon for this game, but we're gonna see in due time. The new battle gimmick is called Gig Axis. Each of the 16 main islands have a guardian Pokemon. Some Pokemon can loyalty to a guardian Pokemon, which unlocks Gig Access, temporarily changing their appearance and typing. After some use, the temporary change becomes permanent. There's an item related to Gig Access called a G token, reminding me of the pins in The World Ends With You. The games share a box legendary called Thalorian, or Thalorion, I don't know, either one of the two. Basically, they are reskinned Maridon and Corodons, and in Gale's, Thalorion has pledged loyalty to the winds as you use him to travel through the skies from island to island and tides to the seas, traveling between islands on the sea. Pick related, it's all I could get. Okay, so that's interesting to me because I don't know. I just don't see these games sharing a box legendary. Why would they start doing that now after, never really doing that before. I mean, he did say like a reskin Cordon Meridon, and there are going to be different forms for winds in the sky or, in the water. However, I don't think that this part is accurate. He did say pick related, it's all like it gets. Maybe this guy's just kind of assuming from a different picture he could have theoretically seen. However, I just think that the game is definitely going to have two different legendary Pokemon. Cordon and Meridon are super similar, like there's no doubt about it. However, they are different, and even though they don't really perform differently, they look differently. So I just can't imagine one game allowing you to fly from island to island and the other game wouldn't allow you to do that, and the other game would allow you to go in the water, and then the other game wouldn't allow you to go in the water. I feel like no matter what, the legendary Pokemon, if it's going to be like a reskin Cordon Meridon, it's going to allow you to do every sort of terrain travel possible. It's not going to be limited to one game only. My hope is that we have different Pokemon we could actually pick and choose. Like, we could have an entire list of every single flying Pokemon within this game, and we could pick which one we actually want to fly on. Or like, we could pick through every single water type Pokemon. We have to pick which specific one we'd want to ride on the water with. I don't think they're going to do that. That's just my hope. That's just like a wish list item. I think it would make the game just more like customizable. Like, you'd be able to pick the Pokemon that you fly on. I don't know. For me, that would be really cool, and I would love that, but I could definitely see why they wouldn't do it, because that would be kind of a lot of, stuff to add to the game. As far as that legendary goes, like I said, there has to be two legendaries. I just can't imagine them just giving us one legendary named Thalorian. There's got to be at least two for the box legendaries. No gyms, there's an island challenge similar to Sun and Moon, but more battle focused. You earn stamps to gain access to different islands. Some other Pokemon I've seen: an early route Griffin, a sea hare, a snake with 4 eyes, a generic black beetle, a hermit crab with different shells, seen at least 6 different shells, including a soda can. The first guardian you see on Mimos Island is a stone lion called Marblio. Okay, we're going to talk about this a little bit. So, Sun and Moon stuff, to me, that seems kind of accurate. Like, I could definitely see them going down that route. However, at the same time, I don't. Because Sun and Moon battles, I don't know, a lot of people didn't like it. I personally prefer the gyms over, like the island challenges. I would love if this game were to have different gyms where each gym leader is just based solely on Greek mythology. Like, one gym leader could be Zeus, which that's what I would want to see. They're probably not going to do that. However, I just don't see them doing the island challenge stuff again, because it just, I don't know, it just wasn't the same as gym battles. We need more gym battles. And all these Pokemon, they definitely seem all feasible. Like, I could definitely see all of this being in the game. It would be really cool to have a hermit crab where the shells are different. I would actually really enjoy that. I think that's a really cool idea. The snake Pokemon, we do have a lot of snake Pokemon, but I could see us having another one, to be honest. A sea hare, the griffin sounds really cool. And then the first guardian we see is a stone lion. To me, that sounds really cool. I think that's awesome, a cool idea. Marblio is a really cool name. And it would be cool to see like every single main island have its own sort of like guardian Pokemon. Maybe like all pseudo-legendary Pokemon or something like that. That would be really cool to see. There are some heavy Kanto pandering early on. The game's professor is blank, which apparently the guy's name is Oak, but it isn't Professor Oak that we know. It's a new Professor Oak. That's just what I've seen online. I don't know if that's true. Probably not true. It's probably going to be a different professor. This guy says, I don't know why. The first permanent Giga-Axis we see is a ground-type Charmander, which you just get for some reason. It's brown, closed eyes, and its tail is split in two. Your rival is a girl from your village named Sophia, short brown hair, blah, 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 just talking about how she looks. That's it. See you later, is what the guy said. So, okay, overall, I think a lot of things on this list seem pretty feasible, just of a borderline sense, like a borderline understanding of Greece and what they could potentially add to a Pokemon game that's based on an archipelago, which is a bunch of small islands in the ocean. So, we're definitely going to have a bunch of small islands. This guy said 16 main islands, 150 smaller islands, which I could definitely see. Legends Arceus did have a couple of random islands every now and then, like in the water, so I could see them doing that to just a more grand scale. I don't think that the name of the game is going to be Gales and Tides. I do like the name. I don't think it's going to be the name. I don't think the region is going to be called the Lados region, even though I do like that name. I think it's cool. But I do think like each island could have something different. One's going to be a patch of grass, one will be a cave, one will just literally have sand and a Pokeball where you can get a random item. You know what I'm saying? The starter Pokemon sounds super cool to me. Like I said, the grass snail, I think that's what I'd pick because that sounds super cool. Let me know what you guys think about this. Like I said earlier, take this all with a grain of salt because it doesn't mean this is real. This is just on the internet, right? And there have been a lot of people posting about it, so that's why I decided to report about it. just because it's super interesting. Now, there were things on 4chan a couple months ago in relations to Legends ZA that ended up coming true, so I pick and choose the 4chan stuff that I do show because this is originated from 4chan, so I typically don't report on 4chan stuff just because a lot of the times 4chan information is just random people. But like I said, I just want you guys fully know, like, full transparency, this is just somebody talking. They may or may not actually work for Game Freak, or they may or may not actually know this information, but some of this stuff to me just seemed kind of accurate to what we could see. So yeah, I just want to know what you guys think about this. What's your favorite piece of information, and which starter would you pick out of the Fire Goat, Water Octopus, and Grass Snail? Let me know down in the comments, and if you are a real one watching this far in the video, comment down below. Beans, just to confuse the people that aren't watching this far in the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Someone